Okay, should be live now everywhere.
Yes, I see it.
Is the bull run out? Yeah, so it shows. Oh yeah, we both have this stream, so that's great. I
Yeah,
think it shares viewers. And all right, awesome.
awesome.
Well,
Let's
good to
get
see
into
you.
it.
Good to
Good to
see you.
you.
We're
Good to see
here.
you too, man.
Are the bears fucked, or are they just waking up and being like, I told you so"? I think that's what we're going to talk about. I at first just want to share a video also with you. Like, I love Bitcoin memes. I think Bitcoin has the best memes on the internet, and I especially love some of the videos that people are making. And there's a guy I follow. His handle is on the screen. He's called Heliant. And he makes sick videos. And I just wanted to start with that, just to kind of set the mood, set our energy, and then we kick it off. Yeah? It's kind of
Yeah,
playing. I'm figuring out StreamYard as I go. So it's playing. I'm going to play it from the start. Yeah? Let's
yeah,
go.
let's do it.
Let's go. Wait, check it out.
Looks good. Love it. Really great video. Oh, you're muted.
See, I'm still a rookie.
Oh, good.
Dude, I love that energy. Like, this is why Bitcoin is here. Dude, we are in a huge battle, right? And I think today we're going to talk about where we're at. We saw some price action. People are chickening out. But this is nothing. If you're long enough into Bitcoin, this is part of it, right? This is the monetization of Bitcoin as an asset. It goes up, it goes down, but long term, and that is, I think, the key word, it's up and to the right.
This is the fun part, right? Because you see all these people coming out of the woods, out of their basement, out of their closets, whatever it is, coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, we were right all along." After they started saying Bitcoin is going to zero at $1, then $10, then $100, and 1,000. Today, it's crashed from 126,000 to 90,000, and these people think that, oh yeah, we got the upper hand. It's going to zero. Like, it's going to keep happening over and over again. I guess a broken clock is right twice a day, so that's the position that they're in.
Yeah, I have a tweet I will share, and then we'll go to yours, which was super fun.
So much hate.
I'm scrolling down. Yeah, this one. Sorry, this
I
one.
thought exactly what Carl was saying there in the comment. He's saying, I didn't think I'd ever see 100K below 100K again. Of course, I'd take that discount.
Yeah, I mean, if you love it at 120, 25, you'll definitely love it at 88.
That's it.
Yeah, like this tweet, like like you said, like, it's these bears coming out of the woodworks and being like, "Oh my God, I told you so. Gold is much better money in 2025."
Yeah.
Like things like that. And I was just thinking, having a bearish outlook is just fucking boring. Dude, it's so boring, right? Like, afterwards, you're going to be like, "Oh, I told you so. Look at me. I'm so smart." Like, no, dude, like, we are doing the work. We're seeing something in the future, right? We did the study, and we are envisioning a future where sound money is bringing abundance to everyone, where you can actually live, right, and build stuff instead of being forced to being the consumer that you are today. So the future isn't like 100% certain. Like, this Bitcoin thing isn't 100% certain, right? Conceptually, if you look at the characteristics of Bitcoin, it's a superior monetary asset, right? It's superior to gold. I've talked to several gold bugs who agree with me that it's superior to gold. But, well, yeah, all the central banks today are still buying gold. That's okay. We think that's a dumb trade, but that's okay. This is a long-term outlook, right? And so you have to put your energy and time towards this, first to study for yourself. Then, in my opinion, this is what we're trying to do, tell others about it, right? But you have to have a little faith, right? It is not 100%. So you have to have a little faith that if you put your time and energy towards that, it will become something, right? And like I'm saying here, like, destruction is easy and creation is not, So I think the people that are bearish are just boring. Like, you didn't do the work here. Tyler Campbell, S&P is better. I don't know if that's a joke, but
It's funny because a lot of them are gold bugs, and gold relies on destruction, right? It relies on the current system failing. If the current system succeeds, then gold fails. Right? Actually, even if the current system succeeds, gold will do. I think the people who have gold are they're setting themselves up for failure because I mean, who's going to use gold? How do I pay you with gold?
Mhm.
Right?
Well, it's that. And today I was listening to Mike Alfred on the podcast with Nelly Brunel. Really good episode, by the way. And she asked him if he holds gold, and he said no. Gold is like fully monetized, right? So there's some everyone knows about gold, and
Yeah.
so gold will go up by the people that don't understand that there's a superior alternative, right? And this superior alternative, that is Bitcoin, is hated by most people and misunderstood by most people. So the greatest asymmetric opportunity is in Bitcoin, right? And so if you understand the problems with fiat money, the mathematically assured debasement of fiat money, what that end looks like, as it happened many times before us, right? The failure of monies that were printed by their rulers. I mean, we know where this is going. And so if you're aware of this problem, you need to pay attention and study. And then obviously Bitcoin, it has the greatest asymmetric upside. And I think that's where the difference is, right? It's like people that are into gold. Yeah, a lot of these bearish people on X now are gold people, right?
Yeah.
They understand the problem, but they fail to understand that there's a superior alternative. Like they look at the past, we look at the future. And the future is by definition more uncertain than the past, right? And that's, I think, where the big discrepancy is in understanding what Bitcoin is and where it's going.
I think most people don't quite understand that even Bitcoin is more certain than any other asset, right? Because no other asset, you have no idea what the supply is going to be. So with other assets, you don't know what the supply and demand is going to be. You don't know what the regulatory system is going to look at. Like, how do you know that the U.S. government isn't going to start asking for uh, an unrealized capital gains tax on real estate or on stocks? How do you know that property taxes won't go up? How do you know that companies aren't going to have to start withholding taxes because there's a lot of people just not paying their taxes or whatever? Like what anything like that can change, right? But with Bitcoin, you can't. That doesn't get impacted. Bitcoin doesn't give a shit about what governments want. It doesn't care.
Yeah. And I think this is a good point, right? Like what you just said, people can receive in very different ways. And you are not talking about that it's sure to go up in price or exchange rate, we should rather say, over time, right? It's about what do the characteristics of Bitcoin mean when you compare them to all the other assets that you could own to protect yourself from this mathematically assured fiat money debasement, right? That's a good thing to differentiate. And like you said, it's either you don't really truly own it, right? So you can pay off your house. You still have to pay property taxes. If you don't pay the property taxes, a man with a gun will come to the door and confiscate your house, right? Stocks you never really truly own. They are held by this intermediary, not even your broker, by the way. That's why it's called a broker, right? They're in between the central party that basically owns the stock, and they are kind of like a front, a way for you to interact with these shares, but you do not own them, right? And so, for example, I use this example a lot.
Yeah.
If you have to flee your country and you go to this other place, this other country, what are you going to show? Are you going to show like your stocks app and be like, hey, look at this. There's this app of this American company I have here. And there's like some names of companies, like stocks on here with like certain numbers, and this is my portfolio. Like, this is what I'm worth. Can you give me some water and some bread now? Or like you're going to take the title deed of your home and be like, well, this is the title deed of my home. And here on Zillow, an American operated website, it says this is the approximate value, right?
You know what the funny thing is?
Yeah.
It seems like most people can't imagine how other people around the world live. Right? Everybody thinks, oh, so I've posted multiple times there are people saving in fiat currencies. One of the comments that I get constantly is, no, nobody saves in fiat currencies. Nobody saves in fiat currencies. But if you look at other countries, There are people saving in US dollars. Like that's their only savings vehicle because they don't have access to the S&P 500.
Yeah.
So what's going to be what's going to be the future of the world in terms of savings? Is it going to be the thing that anybody in the world can access, which is Bitcoin, or is it going to be the S&P 500, which is limited to, let's say, the wealthy?
Well, two things there. In my country, there's almost 500 billion euro worth of savings. So not invested, whatever. So even in a rich Western country, people have savings just in the currency. And like
Yeah.
you're saying, in the dollar, I actually just looked it up today. There are 11 countries in the world that use the US dollar as their national currency, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that. How wild is that? I tried to find like how many people that are, but it's probably tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of people that use a currency that another country that doesn't care about their individual lives can actually
Yeah.
print into infinity, which, if you live in a Western society, that's just really hard to comprehend, I think.
Yeah. Oh, so Joe Fuentes in the comments, can you share that comment on your end? I think you can share it on the screen there.
Yeah.
It's the very
You
last
do
one.
own real estate. The property tax argument is ridiculous, although I do think it's kind of accurate in certain areas. It's not actually true. Don't think like a sheep. Own your home, no mortgage. Well, own your home, no mortgage. I think you, as a professional financial advisor, Rajat, you would agree. The point is, so this is a great comment. You have to think about this first conceptually and then practically, right? So conceptually, you're right. Like your name is on the title deed. That's a legal document within the jurisdiction of your country. But there are so many exemptions hidden in the law that if your government, right, and this is where it becomes conceptually maybe less probable, right? If your government says, well, we're going to build a road here or a whatever, in the nation's interest, you have to go. And this is also something that maybe doesn't really happen a lot in your country or in my country. It's more about understanding that it has happened before to people know better than you. So you have to
It's
understand
happening
that
right now. In Gaza, it's happening right now.
Well, and the biggest example is a Russian bank, like all the Russian money on the banks at the beginning of the war with the Ukraine being seized, now being used to give to the Ukraine. Like if they can do that to a country, you don't think they can do it to you, right? And this is, I think, where people don't understand how this current system works, and then how Bitcoin works, how Bitcoin can actually protect you, right?
Yeah. Like it doesn't matter. Like if okay, so if you own real estate, the worst case scenario here is somebody just kills you and takes your place, and there's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do about it? If you're gone, who's going to prove that it's still yours? You can't. Right? But with Bitcoin, let's say you have Bitcoin and I'm like, "Oh, I want your Bitcoin from you." And you don't give it to me. I torture you. I do whatever I want to you, and I kill you. Then I can't even access the Bitcoin. There's nothing that I can do. I killed you for no reason. So I think what that does, and this is something that a lot of people just can't wrap their head around this. What Bitcoin does is it makes it so that there's no need, or I mean, there's probably still need for violence if people want to be violent, but you're not going to get the best results if you're violent. And then that real estate argument there, don't think like a sheep, own your home, no mortgage. What about the future generations? How are future generations going to own their homes, no mortgage, if they're thinking of putting out 50-year mortgages? You're going to be dead by the time you pay off your
That's
mortgage.
a good scam.
And then the average, have you seen the average age of people who are buying homes now? It's like 40 plus for first-time home buyers. So if you're 40, you take a 50-year mortgage, you finish paying your mortgage at 90, and then the life expectancy is like 73. So the last 17 years, when you're probably supposed to be paying off the majority of your principal on the house, you're already dead. That house is already gone. You don't even get to benefit from it. So how are you going to own that house? It's crazy. Like I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and he was saying, and no, Bitcoin standard doesn't make any sense. How are people just going to save? Why would people just want to save? Why wouldn't they want to take on debt? If you want to take on debt, then go for it. But that doesn't mean that we have to. Like, that's not what the world is built on. The world is built on, it's like your tweet there, right? It's built on creation.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting point, right? Like maybe one thing about the real estate thing, what I wanted to say is, like, let's say you have to flee to another country and you show this title deed. this title deed made up by a third party with a third party stamp, than you being on Zillow saying like, oh, this is what that address in the United States that I just fled from
Yeah.
is worth. Now
Yeah.
give me some water and give me some food because I'm starving, because I just, fled to this
How do you
other
take your land
country.
with you?
Hmm?
You can't take your land with you.
No, but this is the point, right? This is where people are conflating all these things that are like an asset, a money, etc. Like, beanie babies. People save beanie babies, right? Yeah, beanie babies can be money. Real estate can be money. Bitcoin is, and that sounds crazy, I know, it's everything in itself. It is all these things, right? So it's digital capital, it's a digital asset, but it's also digital money, right? We can send it now. I can sell a Bitcoin now to a guy or someone in a random place in the world. I don't even have to know them, and I can send it to them, and within 10 minutes they actually have it in their possession, and I
Yeah.
don't anymore, right? There's nothing in the world where you can do that with. Well,
And you
yeah,
can't
maybe
reverse the transaction either.
no. So it's final, right? And I think
Yeah.
this is where this conflation happens between assets and money, um and all these things. But again, it's funny to see these comments, right? I see this other comment like, Trump sold, he had 15,000 now, this and that amount. We got no SBRs, just to trade to them. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
There-
They don't understand
Bitcoin,
it. Who cares?
Bitcoin doesn't need Trump. Trump needs Bitcoin.
Hmm.
Once you wrap your head around that, it's over. It's game over. Real estate needs Trump, because real estate needs Trump to keep pumping it, and it needs Trump to make regulations in a way so that people keep borrowing money to buy houses and to buy land. But Bitcoin does not need Trump. American real estate needs Trump. Bitcoin doesn't need Trump because Bitcoin's global. That's the thing that people can't wrap their heads around.
Yeah, I have another comment. You think investing in gold is setting yourself up for failure? Don't say stuff like that. It's smart to have some in both, and that's the truth. I have an idea around gold, but you're the CFA here. The whole diversification thing. Can you kind of reflect on that?
I don't care about diversification anymore. And once you I used to care about diversification when I knew a little bit of a lot. Now that I know a lot about one thing, I don't think you need to I mean, if you want to diversify, maybe hold some fiat, right? I have a video where I explained it very in depth. All you need is Bitcoin and cash. You don't need anything else. And then I want to share my screen here. There's a chart that shows you the price of gold in terms of Bitcoin. Share my screen there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
So
sorry.
this is the price of gold in terms of Bitcoin. So I'll show it to you in terms of Bitcoin per ounce. So at one point, this is the high in 2011. 1 ounce of gold cost 646 Bitcoin. Then oh wow, I didn't even notice that was so quick. So from November 21st, 2011 to December 2nd, 2013, it went from 657 Bitcoin per ounce to 1.23 Bitcoin per ounce. 1.23 Bitcoin per ounce. Like, that's insane. Right. And then as you keep going, you can see it does come back a little bit. So it goes from 1.23 all the way up to 5.87. But you've still lost 99% of your value that you stored in gold. And then it goes back down, it comes back up, goes back down, but it's not reverting to the mean. Like, you might think that, okay, this little part right at the end here is a huge win for people who are saving in gold. Like you can see here, it went from 2.8 million Satoshis per ounce to now 4.3 million Satoshis per ounce. But at some point, you're going to see that this goes to 1 million Satoshis per ounce, and it goes to 100,000 Satoshis per ounce, and it goes to 50,000 Satoshis per ounce. Why wouldn't you want the best performing asset? That's the thing that I don't quite get. People can't wrap their heads around it. It's just so hard to grasp, because people have been taught that, no, you need to own gold. You need to own houses. You need to own silver. You need to own this, and that. But they can't really explain to you why. Like, if we ask these people, why should we have gold? They probably won't be able to answer it. Like, they won't be able to answer that question.
It's because everyone is buying gold is what I think is what people think. Well, gold has been this and that for 5,000 years. I'm going to make a video about that. Actually, I'm going to title it like, is gold a meme coin? Right? Because on all the other characteristics, Bitcoin is superior. The only thing gold has is this, lifespan of 5,000 years, which is great. But if that's the only part of your narrative, like, I'm buying it not because of the actual hard characteristics of the asset itself. No, I'm gonna buy it because it's been around for longer. It's fine. I think we should also share that, do whatever you want, buy whatever you want. We are obviously convinced about Bitcoin. And the reason that we wanted to do this live stream is to also kind of like reply to how people talk about this. And of course, poke a joke, make some fun of the ignorance, but also try to explain how you could think about it as well, how we think about it. And if that resonates with you, then ask your question, study Bitcoin. That is always I think also the message, right? It's study Bitcoin, not buy Bitcoin. So do whatever you want. We don't really care. We shouldn't care, and we don't. So do whatever you want. But I have some fun. I like this one. Never listen to influencers. I mean, apparently we are influencers now, but we just started talking on the internet about something that is interesting to us. So if that is the reason to not listen to us, that is fine. I saw this one. Trump needs Bitcoin. Oh, that's Sven. That's the same guy.
Well, that's a Casper person, by the way.
Oh, fun. Well, boring. I never reply to Casper tweets. They always reply to mine. But can you maybe explain why you said Bitcoin doesn't need Trump, Trump needs Bitcoin?
Yeah, can you share my screen? I'll show the characteristics of money. I think this is something that I've been working on for a while, and I've actually been adding different assets.
Birkin bag. I love that.
Right, yeah. Like I even put Beanie Babies. I put Labubus. I put luxury watches. I put bonds. I put everything. So what you see here is the characteristics that we need money to have. Right, this is just economically. What do we need money to be? Right, when we think about money, what do we need it to be? We need it to be something that you can move around. We need the units to be the same. We need to have all the units that have the same characteristics. We need it to last. We need it to be divisible. We need it to be portable. We need it to be scarce, decent. All of these have reasons, right? So the functions of money are medium of exchange, unit of account, and store of value. All of these characteristics support those functions. If something doesn't have these functions, or if something doesn't fulfill these characteristics, then it can't fulfill those functions, right? So what you see here is Bitcoin has all of the characteristics that we need money to have. It's just that it doesn't have a track record yet because it's not old enough. That's simply it. The thing that we're using today is the US dollar. If you compare Bitcoin to even gold, we compare these two, you can see here, how do you move gold around to other people? I mentioned earlier, if I wanted to send you gold, how do I do it? I have to mail it to you. I have to trust another third party. I don't even know if you're going to get what I sent to you, because what if they tamper with the package? All of that just makes gold so much harder to use in a digital economy. And then we have divisibility. Let's say, for example, if you want to sell me something that's worth a penny, how do I give you a penny worth of gold? How much is that going to be? Like a little shaving?
A little dust flake.
Dust, right? Yeah. And what happens if you lose it, right? And how do I pay somebody across the world who's giving me some kind of, how do I pay Netflix with gold? It's the stupidest thing ever, right? And then
I fully agree. Maybe to add one thing about the gold, I'm looking for a comment that someone said. Let me see. I cannot really find it, but yeah, it's like I always think about this with regard to gold, and I say this to gold bugs. It's like, if I buy a gold coin of you, how do I know it's real? And they're going to be like, well, it's stamped by this or that bullion house, or however you even call it. But that's already the point, right? The point is, you need third parties to secure large quantities, to move large quantities, to verify large quantities, right? Or you need third party machines to do tests, etc. And maybe people are going to reply now, well, you have like $30 machine to check if gold is real. Yeah, but do you check the tungsten possibility on the inside? It's stuff like that. And it's just it is just basic, right? So we're not saying gold is bad. Gold is great for what it has done up until Bitcoin exists, but it's more about understanding that something superior has come along, which can fulfill the same functions and more, right? I usually say like gold or Bitcoin is gold with teleportation built in, just that, and way more, but just that. If that doesn't trigger you, then yeah, I don't really know how fucking dope is that.
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? I was watching this debate between you know who Keith Weiner is?
Yeah, the guy with the
Funniest thing
nice nice hair.
yeah, that guy. So he was having a debate with what's that guy's name? Pierre Rochard. Is that his name? Pierre Rochard?
Yeah.
I think that's his name. So he actually had a gold coin with him, and he's like, how do we confirm whether this is real gold? So he does is he drops it on a table, and he's like, it makes this sound. And first of all, okay, so let's say you get 1,000 gold coins. How are you going to confirm that all of them make that sound? Are you going to drop every single one? That's the first thing. And then
Yeah,
the
but
second
like
thing,
my inner ear is not your inner ear.
yeah.
See, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's
And then
just
the
too
second thing,
basic.
no, the second thing is even funnier. So the second thing he said was you bite it. And because it's soft, you can bite into it. And that's how you confirm that it's real.
Strange. Like my
What?
jaw muscle strength is different than yours. Like this, see, this is the point. It's like reaching, right? And again, like maybe it works for the people that think that that works. The point is you can use a computer with math and you can just verify the thing, right? There is no fake Bitcoin. You connect to the Bitcoin network, you verify that it's yours, you send this UTXO to this other person, and then the other person has it,
Yeah.
and you don't anymore.
So why does Trump need Bitcoin? Okay, can you go back to that chart there? The reason why Trump needs Bitcoin is because Bitcoin is the only asset that has all these characteristics. Nothing else has all these characteristics. So eventually I think that at least this is what I think. I think that the people who understand it will keep buying it, and they'll keep buying it and they'll keep buying it. I personally don't know anybody who understands Bitcoin and doesn't want more. So they'll keep buying it and they'll push the price up. And one of the crazy things here about Bitcoin is that as the price goes up, more people want it. Like that's something that just like it breaks people's minds. As the price goes up, more people want it, just like gold. But gold has an issue with, let's say, supply. The scarcity is not there, right? You can find more gold in the earth. We have no idea how much gold exists. Something said, I think there was a tweet from someone or a post from someone who said that China found like 12% of the the world's gold supply in a mine. How do you know that's true or not? How do you confirm it? Oh, you're muted.
Such a noob.
That's
I wait. I'm gonna look it up. I
And
had
so
a
the reason why Trump needs gold is, or sorry, the reason why Trump needs Bitcoin is because the entire world can use it, and eventually the entire world will use Bitcoin. How are you going to use gold in a digital economy? Why would
Mhm.
everybody want to use fiat? Nobody wants fiat, right? Even the wealthiest people, they short fiat. The U.S. government itself, even Trump is shorting fiat. He's in debt. The U.S. government is in $38 trillion worth of debt. They're shorting fiat. They don't want fiat. That's why Trump needs Bitcoin and Bitcoin doesn't need Trump.
Yeah,
Bitcoin will survive regardless of whether Trump is president.
yeah. We'll take some. We'll take some other uh, questions, but let's finish up the gold point. Maybe there are more because I
Yeah.
also saw a comment about pristine collateral, which I think is a great segue to get into. I'll share some. I'll share some things. I like this one, right? Like people that say like gold is superior because it's used in electronics, jewelries, and cavities, right? And I think people need to understand that the sole purpose of Bitcoin is money. It's
Yeah.
digital money. Like you can only be the best money if you are only money. So if you're used in electronics, jewelry, and cavities, then that actually dilutes the use case as money. And I mean, that's pretty clear cut for me. But this is what people are saying, like, oh, that utility value, that's where the what do they call that, right? The inherent value, or what's it called, the implicit
Intrinsic.
value, or
Yeah.
intrinsic value, right? That's where that comes from. But that's a whole different conversation about intrinsic value. I want to show you two more things. You
Sorry,
said,
one second. Even in regards to the thing that you just showed,
mhm.
if we stop using gold as a savings vehicle and people stop believing in their safes, you can use it for other things. Like more people can have gold jewelry, right? More people can use gold in their electronics, and it'll be easier for us to find gold and source gold to create electronics. Today, we use alternatives, like we use copper, for example, for certain things. I don't know what other metals we use, but can you imagine if people stop storing gold and they stop hoarding it in their safes at home? If we start using it to produce things like that, that's probably going to advance civilization on its own.
Yeah, I agree. I think I once read this post, really like a deep dive as to why gold was chosen. It was mainly chosen actually because, well, it's scarce, but not too scarce, right? It's scarce enough. There are other metals that are more scarce, but there's not enough, so you cannot really use it for the function of how gold was used. And a lot of these other metals are actually grayish, and this is like one of the only ones. Well, you have copper, right? But like it's like one of the only ones that yeah, just looks different. So it's hard to it was hard to fake, basically. Well, there's all these other.
There was also one other thing. It was because it was distributed really well. So it was all around the world. Like you couldn't only find it in one location; it was everywhere. Which was, I think, that had a really huge impact. Like that was one of the reasons why platinum wasn't used.
Yeah.
Also, because it can melt it and all that.
Yeah. Maybe one more other thing. I see someone commenting. We're gonna talk about transaction throughput and stuff like that. So,
easy.
You talked about like gold being on asteroids and stuff like that, and I wanted to pull up this tweet because again, you have to think about it in different ways, right? You have to think about it in conceptually and practically, basically. So if there's an infinite amount of gold by definition, right? So I wrote here, gold supply is not only conceptually infinite, right? There's always more gold. If it's attractive enough to search for and mine for gold, people will find more gold, right? Even when we go to asteroids or whatever, it doesn't really matter if we can get to the asteroid today. The fact that the gold is there is what you should be thinking about, right? So it is infinite by definition. There is always more gold to be mined anywhere, literally. Bitcoin supply is absolutely finite by definition, right? I once heard Jack Mahler say, gold is stuck in the ground, and Bitcoin is stuck in time, right?
Yeah.
So if Bitcoin goes to 1 million tomorrow and more people want Bitcoin, you can get more miners together, but the only thing that goes up is your chance to find a block within the 10 minutes. And so this is fundamentally different. And I don't know if people saw this clip, but I'll play it just for fun because it's I think it's a great clip.
Bitcoin billionaires on the Dave coin. Yeah, and if he mines all the gold in the asteroids above Earth, then all of a sudden gold. Is that like a real statement? Yeah, I think he will. In like the next. So all of a sudden, wait, what? He's gonna mine all the gold. So there's billions of dollars of gold floating on asteroids around this planet, and Elon's going to get up there and start mining gold, and then it's going to. Frank, you hear this? Fall from the sky and be as plentiful as sand. I don't know if you're serious. No, we're totally serious. Yeah, that's why gold is a problem, because the supply isn't fixed like Bitcoin. But so when people say gold or Bitcoin, like that's gold's for boomers who don't understand that. But Bitcoin, Elon can't change the supply of Bitcoin. It's the only fixed asset in the galaxy. Are you guys crazy?
And I love this so much because Dave Portnoy shares that after this conversation, sorry, volume up. I don't know how I could do this louder. After this conversation, Dave Portnoy bought Bitcoin, obviously, because he sat down with the Winklevoss twins and they were like, dude, you're an idiot if you don't have it. But he later sold because he thought this was too crazy, right? That's so funny. And I mean, this is it. Like if you get just this part, it should push you towards studying it more. Again, there's more to this, but it's just looking at these characteristics.
There's actually a few other things too, right? So I was doing a little bit of research on I was looking for a bit at some research on where gold is on Earth. So one of the things that will happen is if gold's price goes up too much, people are going to start mining under the oceans, and they're going to destroy the life that exists there to get gold and to make money. So why would we want that?
Yeah.
That's where all that there's like 20 trillion tons of gold under the oceans, which is crazy because there's so much pressure. It's pushing it into the ground, and it's in the ground. There's also a lot of like gold flakes in the oceans. So think about how much we're going to destroy just the environment to get more gold.
Yeah, and even this one, right? Yesterday I saw there was an American startup who split an atom. I think there's also been synthetic gold, although it was just like a speck of a flake, whatever, that was created. I don't know if it was at CERN, but or something similar, right? Like people are looking for this. This is a tale as old as time or money. Is like, how can I make synthetic gold, right?
It'll
And
scale
so
up. They made a fleck today. They'll make ounces tomorrow. Then they'll make kilograms the next day. Then they'll make tons and tons of gold.
Yeah. All right. Let's take some other things because this is the one I love. Epstein is Satoshi. It's so funny when, the Bitcoin price goes up, all these types of people are fucking silent, right? And the moment there is a drawdown, which, by the way, there's a discussion around why did it go down. Some people think a big player in the finance world actually blew up and there's Bitcoin involved. They have to sell, it's just cascading down. There's no any other like fundamental changes. So anyway, now that the price goes down a bit, and not even a drawdown that is in the top 5, I think. People, just the FUD comes out and people wake up, right? Because no one wants to see you win. That is fine. And there's these Epstein emails where it shows that he, by the way, that screenshot where he says, I met Satoshi is photoshopped. And the other one where it's shown that he funded money to some MIT organization under which a few core developers actually worked or were also funded. That is the thing that came out. My reply to this is, eventually it doesn't matter, right? Same as like, Tucker Carlson talking about like, oh, the CIA made Bitcoin, etc. It is true that the NSA created the SHA-256, hashing and this security protocol that Bitcoin uses, which is basically used all over the internet. And I see another one about forking, so we'll get to that too. Can I hide this? Yeah. But it doesn't matter. This is an open source computer protocol and anyone can adopt it. That's the whole point. It is irrelevant who started it. What is relevant is that you understand how it works and what that means and what kind of discovery or invention this is. The fact that this eventually created absolute digital scarcity, absolute digital property, right? I can own a Bitcoin or piece of a Bitcoin that I only own. There's nothing digital that you could only own, right? You can copy things infinitely. So that is the solution to the double spend problem in a digital way, right? There's only one part or Bitcoin of the Bitcoin that you own, namely just the one that you own. And that is the invention. So it's an open source computer protocol that no one controls. And that is also irrelevant, right? And that is also, people can fork, right? There's this guy who says it's not Epstein, it's Satoshi. It's Epstein funding Bitcoin core devs to fork the protocol in 2017, resulting in Bitcoin. Eventually, this also doesn't matter. Anyone can hard fork. You can hard fork this tomorrow and make, Rajat BTC, and no one is going to care. And people don't understand how this works. They don't understand. If the network agrees that Rajat BTC is the real Bitcoin, that's where they're going to put all the computing power and energy. So even if this was true, it still doesn't matter.
This is like saying that, somebody copied Twitter's open source code and then they created their own version. So now there's 2 Twitters and the first Twitter doesn't mean anything. It's like what's his name? Peter Schiff always says in his debates. He says, I can create another altcoin. I can create this. It's not really scarce because I can just create more. That's like saying,
there's like an infinite amount of coins, is what some people say, right? Like Bitcoin is not unique. There's like 40,000 copycats. Yeah, but no one is using them.
Yeah. There's there's not even there's like 20 million copycats. They're all trying to solve Bitcoin. The issues that we have with Bitcoin, they're all trying to solve it, right? They're all trying to be the next Bitcoin, but they can't.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. It's been tried a lot of times, and it's not about the code, right? So there's these cryptos that say like, oh, I'm faster, or I'm this, or I'm that. I think that would be a good one to switch to. Like, this is the blockchain trilemma, right? It's security, decentralization, speed. And with Bitcoin, security and decentralization have been chosen over speed. Now, also this, what if, by the way, intermezzo, what if gold gets revalued and you own nothing? If gold gets revalued, you are proving our point.
Can you go into that? What do you mean?
I mean, if a centralized group of people can arbitrarily say what something is worth.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Like, they own a lot of it.
Well, you should make your own conclusion of the fact that that's possible. If you don't care, that's fine, but you're outsourcing shit. And so you're not in control. The whole point of Bitcoin is that you, as the individual that owns it, can verify literally everything about it. Yeah. And if you don't care about that, that's fine. But then Bitcoin is not for you, and you don't understand its superiority over all these other things.
I was watching this thing about something called a Schelling point, where basically like it's a new way for the world to agree on what the future is, and Bitcoin is basically a Schelling point because nothing else has the characteristics that Bitcoin has. You can't do the things that Bitcoin does. Let's say, for example, again, you have gold. You can't send gold across the country in 10 minutes. You can't send it across the world in 10 minutes, right? So I have this guy who works in my community, and he's from Nigeria. If I wanted to send him US dollars, how would I do it? Let's say Western Union. They're going to take like a 30% cut out of everything that I send him. But I send him Satoshis on Lightning. He gets it immediately, and he doesn't have to do anything to accept it. He gets it. And there's nothing I can do to take it back. I can't stop him from using it.
Do an appeal,
right? Like, none of that applies. But people are still going to say, oh, no, US dollars are better. But they don't understand that US dollars are centralized. Centralization is the key here. Just because your US dollars haven't been taken away from you yet, doesn't mean they won't be taken away from you in the future. Russia had 300 billion US dollars, US Treasury bonds basically disappeared. The US government basically said, oh, we're not paying you back. Right? This is debt that Russia owned. So the US government owed $300 billion of debt to Russia, and they said, no, we're not going to pay you back anymore. That's essentially what fiat is. Fiat is debt.
Yeah. It's even, for anyone who's in America who's listening, get your wallet, get $1, look on the bill, and it says, this note is legal tender for all public and private debt. Like the disclaimer is on the piece of paper that the thing that you are holding has no inherent value. It's an abstraction, a representation of a debt on which someone promised to pay it back to you. And again, right, it's about how do you think through this? If you don't care, then stop watching, right? If you think that's kind of weird, keep watching, and study more, because this is the entire thing. You are expending your finite time and energy, your finite life, time and energy, right? You don't know how long you're going to live, to create value and receive a reward that other people know better than you can print infinitely.
Yeah.
One. And the thing they're giving you has no inherent value at all. It's by decree, right? They're just saying like, this is the political currency you are forced to use in this country, and that's what you're going to expend your time and energy for. And again, this is like a different dimension, but the money that you're forced to use has a disclaimer on it that it isn't worth anything.
Yeah. So there's another comment here from Hardwired BM1 LC. As per design, white paper does what it says on the tin. Bitcoin never hits a scaling ceiling. The trilemma is made up. Okay, so the trilemma is made up. That's the stupidest thing ever. It's like saying, oh, you have 24 hours of the day. You can only do this, this, and this. Somehow somebody makes up another hour, and they're like, no, you can also do this. They just add another hour, and they make your days 25 hours. That's like what the trilemma is made up means, right? You have a dilemma whether you can do one thing or the other. You have a certain amount of resources. That's what opportunity cost is. The people who think that the trilemma is made up don't understand opportunity cost, because the opportunity cost is what stops you from being able to solve the dilemma. So let's say the trilemma. So let's say, for example, with I think this person's a BSV kind of guy. Sounds like it. So with BSV, for example, if BSV becomes the world reserve asset, the blocks are going to be massive, meaning that the nodes are going to have these huge amounts of hard drive space in order to run a full node on BSV. Fortunately, BSV isn't being used, and nobody cares about it. Nobody's using it, so the nodes aren't that the what's it called? The blockchain isn't that big. But if it does become the world reserve currency, the world reserve asset, it'll be used billions of times a day, and you're going to have nodes that require 100,000 terabytes of space. And who can afford that? There's going to be, let's say, you're going to have like industrial companies or like servers with Amazon, for example, Amazon Web Services that has to carry the blockchain. The reason why Bitcoin doesn't go down is because we don't have these centralized entities running nodes. Anybody can run a node. If you have BSV and BSV's block the blocks keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, BCH, BSV, all both of those, the blocks will keep getting bigger if they become the world reserve currency. The difference between Bitcoin and all these other currencies is that with Bitcoin, we prioritize being able to run your own node. With all these other cryptocurrencies, no, that's not the priority. The priority is just faster. So you're told that the trilemma is solved, but it's not. In that case, you're sacrificing security, you're sacrificing self-sovereignty for speed.
Yep, I agree. I think there's also one other thing. Shit, I lost it again in the comments. Two things about wow, there's a lot of comments, a lot of shitcoiners. Yeah, that's fine. I never go to a crypto live stream. That's funny. All right. I saw someone else who said like, oh, banks are going to make paper Bitcoin. And I wanted to connect that with this comment. It says, people are sleeping on the fact you can collateralize Bitcoin now and even easier and cheaper soon. With gold, you can't. The real pristine collateral. I mean, it's 2025, right? And everything is digital. So there are already services that are being built where you can do exactly like this comment said, right? You can use Bitcoin as a collateral in, for example, a certain type of multi-sig setup or a smart contract kind of way. And the part about this pristine collateral is when you think about mortgages, for example, and you basically put up the house as a collateral, right? So you borrow the money for the home. Well, the bank creates it, then gives it to themselves, right? And the agreement you have is that, well, once I pay it back over time, including the interest over 20, 30, 50 years now in America, I'm basically slowly buying the home back from the bank. And so you don't really own it also in that sense, right? If you still have a mortgage. But let's say you cannot pay for the mortgage anymore, or any loan that you have put up collateral for. In the example of a home, it needs to be auctioned off, for example. Right? Okay, so you're going to be removed from your home. The home is going to be appraised by a third party, right? There's a third party who's going to arrange the whole custody of this thing, or just the execution of this default basically at the bank. So someone is working on that. They go to this real estate auctions. People are going to bid whatever, because people know it's at an auction. They're going to lowball. And it takes, I know some real estate guys, it takes weeks to auction off a home. If you borrow money from me and you put up Bitcoin as collateral, you don't pay. I give you a notification of adding, or if the price goes down, I'll give you a notification of adding more collateral. You have to send me more Bitcoin. If you don't do that, or you cannot pay whatever the interest is that you have to pay me, I can sell it right now, and we're done. And that's what people say. But that's what people mean when they talk about pristine collateral. It's that, like, I'm actually, I can just sell it instantly. And there's nothing else with which you can do that. And again, it's 2025, right? So it makes sense that stuff like this is digital. With Bitcoin, I can actually also borrow money from anyone in the world who wants to take Bitcoin as my collateral, right? If I have a local generic house here that I own, I cannot get money from a person in Vietnam or China, because they have no clue about the real estate market in my area or whatever. They also need to know me and have all my details and stuff like that. If I can just put up the Bitcoin, I can put up the Bitcoin, and they can send me stable coins or whatever, whatever we want. So also
if you think about
yeah.
real estate from another angle, how do you know that somebody else already isn't lending against that real estate? You have to do all your checks. What if there's another bank
the
that
due
is
diligence,
already
yeah.
lending against it?
Mhm,
How do you know?
mhm. Yeah. And so with this, right, it is when you use Bitcoin as that collateral, I know what a Bitcoin is. So once I start doing this, I'm gonna pay up, right? And it's going to make me way more aware or conscious about the fact that I'm getting into a scheme like this. And so Bitcoin in that sense is really unforgiving, right? The other comment was, oh, banks are going to paper over Bitcoin, etc. That's fine. They can try. You can try, and we're going to see that. And there are going to be big scandals and certain institutions blowing up or whatever, having stuff where they said they had Bitcoin, but they didn't, right? And they rehypothecated or whatever. That's the entire point, right? So you can be critical and say like, oh, this is what the banks are going to do, and I'm so nihilistic, and this is so bad, and blah blah. No, you have to turn around your thinking and realize that yes, they will do it, but if you understand Bitcoin, you will also understand it doesn't matter. Like, there will be maybe 10 instances of this, and then it's going to be clear that with regard to Bitcoin as a financial asset and all this fiat fuckery, you shouldn't play that game. But it's gonna happen, right? And in general, I think just this kind of way of looking at the world, this nihilistic, everything is going to shit, I cannot really do anything about it, right? It's just it is clouding your judgment on something that is right in front of you, that is just mathematically assured fiat money debasement. So you have a problem today, whether you like Bitcoin or not. You have a huge fucking problem today, right? And you need to solve that. We think we can protect ourselves with Bitcoin. There are many billionaires that think they can protect themselves with Bitcoin. If you want to do something else, again, that's fine. But this is how we are currently kind of talking through, this this use case.
Yeah. There's another comment here. Who said it? It was from my
Can you
blue
put up stuff or not?
I can't. It has to be you. It has to be the person who runs it. So it's my blue heaven. Person said, Rajat, how am I wrong that you can have more Bitcoin by trading rather than holding forever? If I sell at highs and buy back at lows, I'll have more Bitcoin. What's wrong with that? I mean, looking back, hindsight is 2020. We know that 126K was the high. Maybe the local high, maybe the all-time high for this cycle. I don't know. I have no idea. But looking back, it's obvious. But when we were at that point, it's not like people were saying, oh yeah, this is the all-time high. We're now going to go back down to 89K. Nobody was saying that. You can feel that. I mean, you can think that way if you want to, but what if you're wrong, right? Let's say you said 126K was the all-time high. You sell your Bitcoin. Now your goal. So first of all, you have to pay taxes. So let's say 30% taxes. You need Bitcoin's price to drop 20%. And when it drops, you're not just going to buy immediately. If it drops 20%, you're not going to buy it immediately, because you're going to want to buy lower, because you want to make sure that you can buy more Bitcoin than you started with. If you just buy at 20%, then you're just going to get the exact same amount. So let's say you need it to drop 50%. What if it doesn't? What if it drops 20% and then it turns back around and it starts going back up again? What do you do then?
Well, I mean, like if you enjoy trading, and see, this is also, again, this is kind of like a comment where we don't really care. Like, I am
Yeah.
not a trader.
Yeah.
I don't like trading. I am not a trader. I don't want to do that. But I know I do have a problem. Like I just said, I have a problem that when I go out the entire day to try to create value and earn money, when I come home, I have a second job. Everyone has a second job, an invisible second job, because you have to mitigate the debasement of the reward that you just earned today. So how are you going to do that? If you like trading and you think you can compete with, hedge funds with way more financial power than you, maybe even their own satellites, so their latency is lower, so they can trade faster. Like, if that is what you want to do, super fine. I don't want to do that. Like, I want to chill with my family, right?
Yeah.
And so I try to find what I think is the best way to solve this problem that we all have. And for me, that's Bitcoin, right? So there's no judgment in trading or not. The problem is, I mean, I traded before with Bitcoin, and now I have way less Bitcoin than in
Same. I've done it.
2014, right?
I've
Like, I
done
did
this
it,
for
and it's not for
before.
me. I'm not the guy, right? And so, it is fine. I'm kind of
That's
scrolling to the question. No, go ahead. I'll
that's the
scroll
thing
to
about
the
Bitcoin, though, right? It gives you the freedom to not have to think about your money all the time. It gives you the freedom to do really what you want in your life, rather
Yeah.
than having to trade in and
Mhm.
out, and then having to look at, like Philip Powell said, rather than having to look at charts like a psychopath, you can just live your life. You just
Yeah.
create value. You do what you want to, and you put that value into Bitcoin at whatever value it is. Because at some point, the value that you have, let's say you have it in dollars, you know that the value is going to decrease over time. It's designed to lose value over time. With Bitcoin, you know that it's going to go up in terms of dollars. So why not just hold on to it?
Could you maybe explain that? I think a lot of people, when they hear like Bitcoin is going up over time, they think like, yeah, of course you say that because you have Bitcoin and you want it to go higher and you want to have other people buy it, blah. Like, what does this mean? What are we talking about?
So there's 21 million Bitcoin, and as more people want it, the price has to go up, because the people who had it, so 95% of the supply was recently mined. I think we reached 95%. As more people want it, they have to buy out of the supply that's already available. You can't create more. Unlike, let's say, with dollars, if there's demand for dollars, more dollars can be printed. That's specifically why interest rates are decreased and increased, right? If there's not enough demand, rates are decreased and people get to fulfill their demand for more dollars. You can't do that with Bitcoin. No matter what happens, Bitcoin's price is going to go up and down, but the supply is inelastic. Nobody can change it. If more people want it, then nothing that you can do to increase the supply. All you have to do is offer more dollars for your Bitcoin. And the good thing here is that you can buy as much as you want to. That's the key here. So there's 21 million Bitcoin that's ever going to exist. There are 60 million millionaires. So from my understanding, just based on that, one Bitcoin should be worth at least $1 million. But then what about all the other people who want more than one Bitcoin? Like Michael Saylor, he's at like 650K. BlackRock has like 800,000. Fidelity has like 300,000. So you're fighting for a smaller and smaller pot over time. And this is, so there's a comment that somebody said here. Rajat, how the fuck did you get your CFA? See, the CFA has come after me for this, and they've told me that I'm too bullish on Bitcoin. I've explained it to them. I mean, I don't need to explain it to you, CC. You don't seem like you're at this level yet. Maybe you need to learn a little bit more. But once you get it, you'll understand why I have the CFA. I have the CFA because I've spent the time understanding this thing. I've spent the time understanding how the legacy financial system works. And because I know how the financial system works, I can transfer that knowledge into Bitcoin. And that's what made me buy more, right? That once you understand supply and demand, everything else is a lot easier to wrap your head around.
Yeah, I a few things. This one, 58 million millionaires is someone who owns both. I think you will be surprised how gold
58
moves.
million, 60 million, same thing.
Yeah. This has worked on a few millionaires I've spoken to, actually, where I say like, do you know how many millionaires there are? Do you know how much Bitcoin there is?
Yeah.
And also this, right? There's a lot that have been lost. So I think the float is probably more like 17 million eventually. I want to talk about the tweet that you sent me before and the comment there about the miners and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But first, I want to show this, because you talked about, this is a tweet from October 7. You talked about, people hodling. This is supply that is stuck. These are people that understand what this is, right? They aren't selling, because the meme is sell for what, right? Like, what are you going to sell it for? Once you understand that any other monetary asset is inferior, then yeah, it doesn't really make sense to sell. I wanted to show this. So there's this website where you can go to bitcoinmagazinepro.com/ I'm gonna read it out, charts/hodl-waves. And yeah, you can look at, because the blockchain is transparent, obviously, we can see how UTXO's coins have been moved or not. So these HODL waves show the amount of Bitcoin held for different periods, not moved. So where are we today? Again, this is from October 7, so a little over 5 weeks ago. Held over 10 years, 16.96%. Well, there's this whole list. I counted them up. And so everything for 2 years and longer is 53.3%.
Wow.
So what can you take? Well, and even this one, if you add this, it's over 60, right? But I took 2 years just to be conservative, in a sense that, if you understand what this is, that, by the way, 2+ years, that means these people went from 69 to 15. Okay. We know what this is. These people know what this is. You and I are part of this. We know what this is. Like, we're selling for what? And that is the point. That is what you need to understand when you are still looking at Bitcoin right now. You are not too late for the upside, but I think there are enough people that have already figured this out that it's going to be harder and harder. Oh, you have the Unchained website. Is that better? Well, you can.
It's just an updated one. That's all. I just had it available.
Oh yeah. So it's this one. Well, yeah, this is also really cool. Unchained.com.
Yeah, that one.
/ what is it?
HODL waves.
HODL waves.
You can post it in the chat. Let me send it in the chat there.
Yeah, cool.
People can check it out. Just look at the numbers there. I feel like it's really interesting. This is actually a really great point that you brought up.
Well, I mean, you can just see that, right? So again, if you don't like Bitcoin or whatever, like, it's all fine. These are just the parts that we're highlighting here. I think is just showing the different things that you can think about. Wait, I'm trying to find the tweet I had from you that I wanted to show.
I actually started saying something to people who are constantly bearish on Bitcoin. So I started saying, let me see here. I had a tweet that I posted. It was either yesterday or the day before. But basically, if you don't understand Bitcoin, that's perfectly fine. You're just transferring wealth to the people who do understand it. And I'm willing to accept your wealth. I have no problems with it. So let me share that tweet with you. You can just share it. I feel like this is so important because there's so many people who are just fully bearish on Bitcoin. They don't quite understand it. It's a wealth transfer to anybody who let's say you want to hold on to real estate. That's perfectly fine. But your real estate is going to be worth less and less in terms of Bitcoin over time. And the people who will be able to buy that real estate from you for less and less Bitcoin.
Sorry, I'll put it on the screen. Yeah. I mean, if you can have an asset, right, that continues to grow in purchasing power over time, you're going to be able to buy more products and services with that. I will also look at a tweet that I did for. I don't know if I have the updated one. Here. All right. So Dutch average house prices in euro and Bitcoin from 2014 till 2025. In fiat, these prices rose by almost 7% a year, for a total of almost 113%. In Bitcoin, prices fell 43.4% per year, and you now pay 99.2% less in Bitcoin for an average Dutch home. And this is the point that you are making, right? Like over time, this is why you have to zoom out. This is why, you know, the last 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 20 weeks are irrelevant. Like you have to zoom out to understand the trend, right? And even if you go on Google, like Bitcoin USD price do all time, what is the trend? Is the trend that it will go to zero because Rando332 on Twitter said so?
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh, sorry, it's up. I said down. It's up. Always up. It's I said the trend is down, but it's always up. I said I was thinking of it differently. Like the trend of the house pricing will always go down. The trend of the US dollar priced in Bitcoin will always go down. They're all going to be worth less over time in terms of Bitcoin. This is how it is. This is designed to go that way.
Yeah. So here's someone who's figured it out. We want you to sell at a loss or something. I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes I don't really understand what people mean. It's just a market. It's a market, right? Like we don't tell anyone to buy Bitcoin, sell Bitcoin. It's study Bitcoin. And so if you still dismiss it after all these things, you know, even I see this guy is sharing. I was a Bitcoin investor a long time ago, made profit and rotated by investment into other digital assets and physical source of value. Well, good for you. You know, I think Rajat and I both don't think that Bitcoin is an investment. Maybe that's a different conversation. But yeah, if you think it's an investment and you want to trade, you know, all that stuff is totally fine. Yeah, I thought this one. Well, we'll get back to this one because I wanted to show you the tweet. A few things before we go to the tweet. Like, if you think about the future, right? It is hard to predict the future, and there are many people that use arguments of something happening in the future, potentially, maybe, and therefore Bitcoin is not worth anything today. Again, fine if that is your conclusion, but yeah, a meteor could also hit and wipe out your home or whatever. Like, it is very easy to be kind of like nihilistic and have like these super outrageous claims that sound cool to then use as your argument for today. Like, that is also fine. I think both of us, our goal is to kind of trigger people and in a most positive way, right? And just help them kind of like create some threats for them to kind of like help them investigate this further. Maybe one more thing, and then I'll really go to the tweet. I saw this. Why do you guys think there's so many people still very bearish on Bitcoin? This is a dumb answer from me, but it's because they don't understand it.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
You know, fine. This is what Satoshi said on the forum, right? If you, what does he say? If you don't have time, or if you're not interested, you know, or I don't have time to tell you, you know, whatever. Like, it is whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that other people are bearish. You can ask them why they are bearish, and then it's just up to you to verify these arguments, right? Like, it, you know, yeah, whatever, right? Like, that's kind of what I think. That's kind of like the thing here. Bitcoin is okay. It's a revolution. Well, Bitcoin is not. Sorry, this chat, dude. It's not an investment. It's a revolution. Well, it is a trade, but it's the last trade that you do, right? It's you just sell everything and you save your wealth in Bitcoin. Okay, your tweet. Go for it.
So, yesterday, at the very bottom, I bought some Bitcoin, and I mean, this is probably how a lot of people think, right? When the price is going down, you don't want some, because you may think that's going to go lower, and that's perfectly fine. But that's why I bought some, because if you think it's going to go lower, sorry, I'm just coughing. If you think it's going to go lower, you're just letting your emotions rule your future. You're letting your emotions control your future. You shouldn't let that happen. That's not the right way to go, right? The reason why I bought more Bitcoin is because I don't want my emotions to control my future. So, yeah.
The fun part here is to look at the comments. We'll get back to this comment. I want to highlight the comment, but you wanted to talk about all the shitty comments, right?
I got called an idiot so many times.
Well, this was the top, right?
No, that was the bottom. I posted that yesterday. This is Canadian dollars.
Oh, this Canadian dollar. Well, you're cooked anyway in Canadian dollars. But, okay,
US at that time.
I check. Okay. Oh yeah. So you have to say it's Canadian. I'm just scrolling through it.
Like, look at this
one. These ones I love. You have to convince yourself and other people not to speculate on something that is 100% speculative. You know, there's a good one to highlight. Okay. Everything in your fucking life is speculative, right? You're speculating on something to happen or not, and that is why you are doing things. You know, this whole word of speculative, like nothing is sure. Like the whole idea of people telling you that stuff in finance is sure, right? Like is assured, and that there are speculative things. That is the fucking scam, guys. The risk-free rate of, you know, treasury bonds and stuff like that, that is part of the fucking scam. You know, that's also where the whole word speculative came from. You know, yes, we are speculating. We're speculating on a mathematically assured debasement of the fiat dollar, for the fiat money. That is what we are doing. Okay, so this word speculative, it means nothing. So you said, sure, the supply is fixed, but it's speculative and real estate isn't. And then this guy says, saying, so what does this actually mean? Right? It's funny.
So what I meant by that is that people think that, oh, real estate isn't speculative because, oh, we're always going to need a place to live. But how do you know that there's not going to be like a dumpster opened up next to your house?
Yeah, or defund the police.
You're speculating that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, or defunding the police, or whatever. Like there's a new crack spot in your backyard, right? You know, nothing is risk-free. Bitcoin is also not risk-free. That's not what we're saying, but everything is speculative. So this guy says saying Bitcoin isn't speculative is like saying the sun isn't hot. Your advice is criminally irresponsible. Telling people to sell their houses to homes to buy this glorified pump and dump. It's backed by nothing but confidence. It relies on new investors to pay, well, like a Ponzi. You know, if people go to my Twitter account, you see many discussions with Grok where it explains at retard 70 IQ level why it's not a Ponzi. Like these people are just not serious. Like don't listen to to these types of people. And if you hate it, post your shorts. Post your shorts.
There's one above. It said, "Why would you buy now?" Why would anyone buy now?
Well, why would
go down? Oh, that one right there. Why would anyone buy now?
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, if you don't look at it as a trade, right? It's the same as this comment. Like, if I was Bitcoin only, I would have missed out on some great AI stocks. Like, I have some stocks, but it's less than 5% of everything I own. Like, again, I'm not a trader. Okay, so this is the point. Bitcoin is a savings account. It's a store of value that accrues over time. It's most transparent, least risky fundamentally than any other thing that you can do. And however you value that is however you value that, right? And if you want to have 50% of your wealth in Bitcoin and 50% in, you know, upcoming growth stocks, AI, whatever, like do you. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. But you have to understand that they are fundamentally different.
Yeah,
they're fundamentally different. And yeah, as long as you don't understand that, that's when you're going to trade Bitcoin and lose it, and then realize you have to work 3 times as hard to get it back. But that's, I mean, is part of it. I want to
Can
go
you go
back
up
to your.
slightly?
Sorry, up
Just go up
comments
slightly. Yeah, in that one, the comments there. Oh, so this one.
or
But
our
yours,
comments or the? Oh yeah, this one.
the
Yeah,
one that right there from Software Dog. But you
I'm
still won't
trying to
answer the question.
remove this comment on the
Oh, that
screen.
one's
Yeah.
the one that you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a good one because I will also look up another tweet of mine. But if you still won't answer the question about miners block going to zero, fees will never be enough to cover costs long term. Leading miners exiting and 51% attack. Panic will set in long before this even happens, and everyone will sell. See, this guy thinks it's a rhetorical question because Bitcoin doesn't have a solution for this major problem. I am going to attempt to look up a tweet that I had, and I think this is part of having an idea of the future, having some faith or whatever, thinking about what this could be. Let me see, or I'll try to summarize it. I cannot really find it. I'll do one more attempt. Okay, cannot find it. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is in 2140, all Bitcoin will be mined, right? And there are people that say, well, conceptually, in 115 years, what if no one uses Bitcoin and the miners don't earn anything? Then it's going to blow up. And that is why I'm fading it today, is basically what this guy is saying. Okay. If that is why you want to fade it, super fine. I'll give you my idea around this, because conceptually this is correct, but you cannot look into the future, like Rajat replied. Okay. Bitcoin is designed as perfectly engineered money, as the best store of value to ever exist. Everything that we've been talking about now. Okay. So if this is an absolutely scarce asset, a finite asset, and it has these characteristics of superior engineered money or capital, or, more and more people over time want this over any other thing that they can use to store their wealth, especially fiat money that's debasing at an ever accelerating rate. Okay. That is why the price or the exchange rate is going up. That's over time. That's why the purchasing power of each Bitcoin is going up over time. Okay. So along the way, people will figure out that homes are a utility. You use a home to live in, to give yourself protection, etc. The fact that homes have now become an investment, a way for people to create wealth towards the future, is all a result of the financialization of assets because of fiat money. This is a whole different conversation, but there are monetary premiums in all these different types of assets because money, dollars, currency cannot be used as money, right? You can hoard more dollars. You can save more units of dollars or euros or yen, whatever. But if they lose value over time, it makes no sense, right? If your purchasing power devalues over time, it makes no sense. So you're not saving. I'm not spending it today. I want to spend it in the future. But if I lose purchasing power of these amounts of units, I'm not saving. I'm going backwards. Okay. So Bitcoin is a superior. I love the comments, by the way. What the fuck is going on? Bitcoin is a superior savings tool. And over time, Bitcoin will be how we measure value in the world. Like how we measure, we measure distance with certain standards. We measure kilojoules, kilowatt hours. We measure temperature and stuff like that. There's standards. There is no economic standard for value. There's no measurement stick for value, because everything you can use for that is volatile by definition. One Bitcoin is always one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin doesn't change. So the bigger theory is, if Bitcoin becomes the ultimate store of value, the ultimate measurement of value, it will be the black hole of value, the most value, like it will be the asset in which the most value of the world is stored. And that makes it the most important asset to protect in the world, to keep decentralized and secure in the world. So while in this starting up phase for the first 155 years until all the Bitcoin are mined, there is this block subsidy that the miners get. And over time, this goes away and they can make money with the transaction fees from the block. But my explanation here is, if Bitcoin becomes this black hole of value, people will pay to secure the network, to have a security budget, right? So we won't rely on the transaction fees alone. It'll actually be worthwhile to pay a security fee to secure the network. And this is why you have to have a little faith, because there is no middle ending for Bitcoin, right? It's still an experiment. It's either zero, nobody figures out that this is a superior monetary asset, as we've been talking about for almost 90 minutes, or it is, like you said before, Rashad. And that's it. That is literally it. There is no middle ending, right? So in that sense, it is still an experiment up until that year 2140. And that is what you have to, kind of work with, right? There is no 100% certainty again. I'm a clown, and they're orange, not red. And it's because I have a huge screen. See, this is like, these comments like this, it's so boring. Like, dude, what are you doing? You're like commenting on a YouTube feed like, oh, this is stupid. This guy looks stupid. Whatever.
He's going out of his way to a chat that he doesn't need to be a part of to insult somebody who he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's making no difference in the world.
Yeah.
That's sad.
By the way, great comment here. We haven't even touched upon the energy side of Bitcoin. There's a direct Bitcoin kilowatt hour relationship. I definitely recommend Hash Power Academy. I do too. He has amazing technical videos about Bitcoin mining and the energy expenditure, etc. So check him out.
Is this Andy? That's him?
Yeah, I forgot his name. He's a great guy. I think he's Australian or something. He's really cool. Funny. What is someone saying? Imagine not looking at other change. Propaganda strong. Yeah, good luck. Go for it. Do it. Fade Bitcoin. See, that's the point. This is the nihilistic view, guys. Like, think about this. Think about this.
We want you to fade Bitcoin so that we don't have to do it. Once we see
Grifting
your
on
losses,
YouTube is making a difference. Just you grifters, but BS coins. Well, there's only what we don't care. Please don't buy. Okay, I don't know if that's enough, but please don't do it. Just don't buy it. Don't buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably not for you. Okay, that's fine. It's okay. And see, this is the world we live in today, and that is the thing. It's just so nihilistic. The whole zero-sum game thing. It's just like, it's just so nihilistic, and that's okay. I mean, some people would say like, oh, why are you paying attention to comments like that? I think we should show. Oh, funny, this one. What do you guys think of Henrik Zeberg? He said Bitcoin will rally and then crash forever. Yeah. Have you ever heard him explain Bitcoin? Listen to it once, and then you realize he has no clue. See, this again is also the thing. It's like Henrik Zeberg is like a multimillionaire trading finance guy, whatever. He has this following and stuff, and so whatever he says makes sense. That's okay. Follow Henrik and don't buy Bitcoin. See, like, it doesn't. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's all good.
So somebody asked, does Roth IRA and Bitcoin ETF have a place for you? I think the way that I see it is it's almost like a diversification tool. So let's say you have Bitcoin, you have it in cold storage, you might want to have it in other places so that, let's say, if your house gets robbed or if somebody gets your multi-sig, something happens, you lose your multi-sig, you still have that Bitcoin in the ETF. At best. I mean, at worst, it's just a way to underperform Bitcoin forever.
Yeah, and I mean the full revolution is Bitcoin in self-custody. Okay, that is the thing. And so if you put it in like an ETF or anything else that's an abstraction of the real thing. You can do that for different reasons, but you have to understand that that is different than Bitcoin in self custody. I'm reading comments for Bitcoin.
Sorry, Bram, did you say that Henrik Zeberg has, does he have an explanation of Bitcoin? I actually want to hear him explain it.
Now, I once read, wait, I'm gonna, I will look for a tweet that I probably replied to. And I see some questions the blue ones I want to answer. Oh, yeah, wait, Hendrik.
Let's actually go through all the super chats, because I got to go in like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, we should. Wait, I'm trying to. I'll try to see if I probably replied.
Grady Gravy, you said Jeffrey Epstein's involvement in Bitcoin. I mean, honestly, to me, it doesn't matter. I don't really care if he's involved. He can't do anything to change the network. And if he does try to change the network, there's going to be pushback. People can run different implementations of Bitcoin. The reference client could change. It's not a monopoly. So there's competition. And if Bitcoin Core does something that the overall Bitcoin community doesn't like, then there will be more implementations. So I don't really think that his involvement really makes a difference to me. In the short term, it might, as in the price might go down because people are thinking, oh, this thing is going down, this and that, and this is the reason why it's going down. But over the long term, it doesn't really make a difference. And exactly, he's dead, so he can't really change Bitcoin regardless.
Yeah, they are dead. I think it's Hal Finney and Len Sassaman, but that's for a different conversation. It's funny. I want to look at tweets from Henrik, but he blocked me. So
weak.
I mean, it's stuff like this, you know, the day will come where it will be very clear that the ones who've been claiming you don't understand Bitcoin will actually be the ones who did not understand Bitcoin. It's a bubble. It's a bubble that popped like 20 fucking times, dude, and it came back 20 times. Like, you know, see, it's just boring. This guy's been tweeting about it for years. He doesn't even here. July 23, blow off top, blah blah. Like, dude. Oh, here. Yeah, this was my reply. Here. Okay, here we go. It's December. It's almost a year ago. Crypto and Bitcoin do not create any value. See, conflating crypto and Bitcoin is strike number one, guys.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. They only rise in price as there's another person willing to buy it at a higher price. This cannot go on forever. Guys, wait. Oh, sorry. I do profile summary. Look at this thing. Head macro economist at Swissblock. Okay. This is an economist. This is a professional economist, guys. And he says they only rise in price as there is another person willing to buy it at a higher price. Oh, gold. You are describing a free global 24/7 365 market, dude.
You know what's crazy? Gold has risen exactly like this forever.
Yeah.
5,000 years.
See, so they are nonsense. It is just, I don't understand the thing. I don't understand why people buy it. Crypto obviously dilutes the message of Bitcoin. Then it goes down. Some things blow up. Look at me. I'm the expert. And this is my point. It's fine. Just don't, what drives any rally in crypto is animal spirit. That is true. That's a good point. But Bitcoin is not crypto. So then I said, Bitcoin is the only verifiable economic constant in the universe. That's what I just told you, right? It's the only way you can measure true value. There's no value, you'll learn. Crypto is something else. Well, then I got blocked.
What did he say? Oh, he said he can compete with Bitcoin. Wow.
3 types of headwinds. CBDC, quantum computing rates moving higher over coming years from end 20. I will learn. And then I said, oh no, with CBDC. Like, dude, Anyway, this is a question we had, quantum computing. So, you know what it is? Maybe one more thing. These professional economists, professional finance people, they all hate Bitcoin, but no one posts their shorts. Okay? No. Rajad and I are all in. We walk our talk. If someone says, Bitcoin is bullshit, Bitcoin is a Ponzi, short it. Show your shorts. You must be 100% short Bitcoin if you hate Bitcoin because it's going to blow up. Show it. Or else there's nothing. Like, it's just bullshit. You just talk BS. You're trolling, right? This question, when do you have to go, Rajat? How
I gotta
many
go
more
in like
minutes?
4 or 5 minutes. I
Okay.
actually gotta go now, but I can go like
Okay.
another 2 minutes.
Let's do this question, and then we see if there's anything else. We wrap up. Let me see. I'm just
Quantum,
looking.
quantum
Go for
isn't
it.
really a problem. People have been saying that quantum is going to kill Bitcoin for the last 15 years. Eventually, it will be, but right now, it's not. And Bitcoin can just be quantum resistant. It's not that hard. There's already BIPs that are being proposed to change Bitcoin's quantum resistance. And there's also Trezor came out with a new wallet that's quantum resistant, which is really cool.
I mean, this is, again, you know, the big arguments are: what if there's an EMP attack?
Yeah.
What if the sun explodes? What if there's a coordinated effort to turn off all electricity in the world or the internet? And then there's quantum. All these arguments are in the same bucket, which are, you know, end of the road, extraordinary occurrences, and they can always occur. I do think there's a challenge with quantum computing conceptually, but it's not like some rando in a basement is going to have quantum computing, like a quantum computer in their basement. I think Elon, when Elon, by the way, talks about quantum computing, he says like they need to do it on the moon, on like the dark side of the moon, because it's fucking cold there. And that's like the only way you can actually run like you know, crazy quantum computer or whatever. So there is stuff that is being developed, but the question is also like, what's the incentive? Are you going to spend $100 billion to kill Bitcoin? Yeah, maybe, perhaps someone is going to try. So again, this is why nothing is 100% assured, and this is something you have to think about. But if this is why you're not into Bitcoin and you just go back to fiat money slavery, then yeah, you can do that. You know, like it is like, oh yeah, maybe somewhere along the way in the future something is going to happen. Well, you have the problem today, like we talked about. You have the problem of fiat money debasement today. That's going to be bad in 30 years, right? Like, you know, so it is just a certain way of thinking about this that I think is interesting. Okay, we should do more streams in the future.
Absolutely.
Our ignorance won't change the reality, and the biggest risk that MicroStrategy making for BTC. Even if MicroStrategy blows up, doesn't really matter.
Yeah. All right, I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta do I got another meeting at 5, so I gotta go.
Well, let's wrap up. We'll do this more often. We hope people enjoyed. I'm trying to remove. Thanks everyone for joining. Let's finish with this. We're on the border of retarded. So thank you. And yeah, follow us, guys, for more live streams in the future. Rajat and I always have a good vibe. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you soon. All right. Cheers.
Peace, guys.